I remember the exact moment I told my fiancé that I couldn't marry him. We were sitting at the kitchen island in our house that we had bought only a year and a half earlier. Now, this was the house with the huge yard with big trees that backed up to a cornfield, the house with the screened-in porch where I used to have my morning coffee on the weekends and then watch thunderstorms on a summer night. This was the house that we had been remodeling together to make it our own. Now, we had been together for 4 years, and there were things about our relationship that worked well. But over time, something just started feeling not quite right. But I kept explaining it away, thinking, well, I'm probably just being too picky, or I'm expecting too much. Or, well, all relationships have problems. This is just normal. Or, well, at least he's responsible with his money. But the feeling just continued to grow. And I got to the point where I was extremely depressed. So at that point, I knew I couldn't ignore it any longer. Something had to change. So that's when I started seeing a counselor. And it was in one of those sessions that she asked me a question that completely disrupted me. Stephanie, what do you value most in your life? She was basically asking me what is so important to me at my core that I cannot disregard it, that living against that value is something that I'm not willing to do. And guess what? I didn't know how to answer her, but I knew that was a really important question that I needed to be able to answer. So I started reflecting on it very deeply over the next several weeks. And what I realized was that even though I was raised in a very strong faith-centered home and community, I had never consciously decided for myself that faith was a foundational value of mine. But the more I thought about what mattered to me as a person and how I want to live my life, the more I realized that one of the things that felt so off in our relationship was the glaring mismatch in this area. I started understanding that my faith was foundational in guiding my actions, my decisions, behaviors, the way I treat people. And he did not share that value. In fact, he constantly argued against faith. That's a story for another time. Now, at this point, I know you may be thinking, gee, Stephanie, it took you 4 years to figure that out. Yeah, trust me, I have asked myself that question many times. But that is exactly why I'm sharing this with you. Because if you don't really know what you value, you can end up making life-changing decisions based on comfort, fear, other people's expectations, instead of making conscious, values-aligned choices for your life. Now, once I saw that misalignment, I could not unsee it, thankfully. So as we sat in that perfectly remodeled kitchen, it felt cold and empty. I was nervous and I could feel my insides shaking as I started speaking. But you know what? Underneath those nerves, I had absolute confidence in my decision. I had never been so confident about anything. And I've looked back on that experience so many times over the years, and I am so thankful for that one question from my counselor. So now I want to give you that same gift. What do you value most in your life? And if you aren't quite sure how to answer that with certainty, don't feel bad. I get it, obviously, but you don't have to stay in that uncertainty. And I've created something to help you answer that question for yourself. This values workbook will help you reflect on some key questions before you even select value words. It'll help you test and confirm that those are truly your chosen values, and you'll get a deeper understanding of what they mean to you and how they show up in your life. So download your free copy at the link. And here's the thing. I guarantee you have someone in your life that needs to make a hard decision, or they're questioning what to do. Would you share this video with them? Because here's the thing. All of us can benefit from understanding our values.